Good morning, good afternoon, good evening guys, gals and gentlepods, and welcome back to the workshop. Yes, today we're in the big workshop. Today is the day we're finally going to start the engine on Morty for the first time with a bit of luck. So a brief rundown of what we've been doing over the last 15 months. So we started off with the rear axle, did a complete strip down and rebuild with all new bearings, seals, brake shoes, wheel cylinders and a nice new limited slip differential. Rebuilt the gearbox with straight cut close ratio gear set in it, which should improve A, power transmission, and B, the actual gearing. Because the gears are closer together, we lose less revs on the gear change. And finally the engine, which has had a 60th rebore with flat top pistons. I've lightened and balanced the con rods. Haven't done anything with the crank. The journals were all in good condition and good size, but yeah, least said the better. Kent 256 Megadyne camshaft, which is a mild road cam, gives allegedly a power band from 1 to 6,500 RPM, which is exactly what I want. I don't want an engine that's all revs and peaky. I want one that will give decent torque from low RPM. When I say decent torque, obviously I'm not talking about hundreds of foot-pounds or newton meters. It's still only an 1100 engine. The 60th rebores brought it up to 1151 cc. So without further ado, we'll get into it. So as you can see, I've got the engine back in the hole. It's got the gearbox on it. I had intended to have this in last Saturday, but the one thing I'd neglected to check was the spigot bearing, the spigot bush in the back end of the crank that supports the nose end of the first motion shaft in the gearbox. And luckily I remembered it on Saturday morning and spotted that it was completely knackered. So I ordered a new one, that came Wednesday. I fitted that, got the clutch on, gearbox is all bolted up, and during the week I've managed to piecemeal get the lump back in the hole. A lot of it is connected up. I've still got some work to do. I've got the prop shaft to put on, the anti-roll bar to go back on at the front, the radiator's got to go in and be connected up, put some coolant in it, clutch slave cylinder, speedo cable, put some oil in the gearbox, and then I think we're about ready to fire it up. So first thing I'm going to do is put the anti-roll bar back in. So I'll get it attached to one bottom arm first. So that's loosely attached to the bottom arms. And here are the bush brackets. That one started. Five eighths. Right, next it's the slave cylinder. Right up, and its push rod. Right, and the master cylinder, slave cylinder's in. Its push rod can go in. Right, so now the push rod's in. Clevis pin through there. Flat washer and a split pin. Flat washer's too thick. Just go with a split pin for the time being. It's not going anywhere. While I'm under here. Speedo cable. Head round. That's it. I think there's only one other job. Well, there's two other jobs to be done under here. One is to put the prop shaft in, which I can do next, and the other is the exhaust. I'm only going to put one section of pipe on here for the time being, for the simple reason that I really need to get it on the big lift, get it up higher in the air so that I can get the alignment of the exhaust done properly. So we get the prop shaft on next. Here it is, all freshly painted. A bit awkward from that angle. Go on. We just get the bolts in on the prop shaft. Right, that's the prop shaft in. Right, going down. Just going to stop it there and just check quickly that the clutch pedal feels right. And it does, it feels perfect. Must remember to put the gear stick in. Poor lift's been stuck up in the air so long it didn't want to come down. Now, before I go any further, I want to just crank the engine over with no plugs in to get the oil round, make sure we've got oil pressure before we go any further. So I've taken the plugs out, disconnect the coil. Nice shiny new Yuasa battery, because the old battery was, well, old. Give that a minute to calm itself. But it's promising, it turns over. That doesn't make any horrible noises. It's taking longer than I would have liked to get oil pressure up, but it's pretty much a brand new build engine. I did pre-fill the oil filter, which should help, but it's still got to pull the oil up from the sump, through the pump, and feed it down to the filter, fill all the galleries before it will actually create pressure. So we'll let it stand for a minute or two and we'll give it another go. Right, let's try again. Okay. Nice shiny new set of sparky plugs. Oh yes, I've just seen I've got to put a couple of pipe clips on the fuel pipe at the front. That won't take many minutes to do. Good. Right, here goes for the first start attempt. Ignition, fuel pump. Yep. Didn't want to. Here we go again. Well, it fired. The reason it wouldn't start initially was the fuel pump wasn't moving any fuel. So I've remedied that. It was simply not priming. So as you heard then, it did fire, but for some reason the starter Bendix has kicked out and won't engage again. So I need to have another look at that. Hey ho, we're getting there. It's fired. So ignition timing somewhere near. We're getting fuel. It didn't go bang in a big nasty way. All good. Well, it would seem that that didn't go very well. While it did fire and ran a few beats, something has gone catastrophically wrong. The starter Bendix has exploded, and in 47 years in the motor trade, never seen that happen. And just to compound the fun, the engine is now locked solid. It won't turn in either direction. So something has gone catastrophically wrong in there, and I won't know what it is. Just looking for my torch. Yeah, I'm a little bit kerfuddled now. Yeah, something's gone catastrophically wrong in there, and basically I need to drop the whole thing back out, pull it apart and see what's gone wrong. Kind of killed my pig for today. I'm not going to do any more video today, just because right at this point in time I'm not in the mood for it. I'm going to go and have a cup of tea, see if I can get my head round what the problem is, and then I'll set about dropping the motor back out. Ho hum, these things come to try us. Hopefully, hope against hope, hopefully it's nothing too catastrophically serious. But yeah, I don't think that's the case. Something's gone catastrophically wrong. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Right, a very brief addendum. Thought the video was over. It wasn't quite. After I'd had a cup of tea, calmed myself down a bit, I decided I needed to pull the motor and see what's gone wrong. And while it was slightly catastrophic, it isn't actually terminal for the engine. I'll show you what's gone. That there is the missing piece of the Bendix housing off the starter motor. And when the Bendix exploded, for whatever reason, possibly the engine kicked back when it fired, but basically when that shattered, that came round on the flywheel and jammed against the oil pump housing. So minimal damage done there. The flywheel looks to be intact. I will give it a closer examination before I put it all back together, but it looks like all I need is a starter motor. So on that note, I'm not such an unhappy bunny, and it's fixable relatively cheaply. I just need a starter motor, and then I can chuck it all back together, chuck it back in, crank her up, get it sorted, and we're good to go. And we can go racing. Just try and get you a bit level. That's it. I just grabbed the camera to just finish this bit off, just to complete the story for today. So I'm sorry this last bit's a bit wobbly. I'm literally holding the camera in my hand. Right, that'll do. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and hopefully it will be running properly without spitting lumps of metal out. Bye for now.